Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. We're back from vacation and we missed like 20 episodes of Young Justice. I might be exaggerating, but we did. Right. I'm Benny, that is Dan, and here is our Young Justice correspondent liaison, the man that is behind the Mickey Mouse voice, Hassan.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
I get it. I get it.
Perfect. Hassan.
I wanted to end the mid-season discussion saying it properly.
That's
so I can mess it up.
Only took a full half season.
Right.
All right. So today, guys, if you're joining us, we're going to talk about the season in its entirety. But before that, we're going to talk about this latest Zatanna, Giovanni child arc, and basically this whole thing. We're going to talk about how that thing is a whole and its conclusion. Let's go to Dan first. Dan, what did you think about this whole story, basically?
I liked it all. I liked it. I thought it was great. I really liked. This show, especially like this season, has made me really start liking Klarion, the Witch Boy. Like, honestly, yeah. I'm just like, at first he was a little annoying, but he kind of grew on me. Childs, I don't know. I was on the fence with her. Like, I was like, I like her, but at the same time, I felt it was a little flat at like a few bits of like, oh, I get it. You're evil. We're doing this. Overall, though, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I liked how they concluded it. I'm curious if they're going to keep to how they concluded it or if they're going to move towards more the way the Dr. Fate is in the comics, but we'll find out that in probably the next half of the season. But yeah,
something's
I really
enjoyed it. And what about you, Hassan? What did you think about the story overall? And then we'll talk about the nitty gritty. I want to talk about Beast Boy separately, by the way. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I think even for me, the flashbacky, monologue-y stills stuff was a little bit on the slow side this time. I liked it when it was one long episode, and I didn't like it as much when it was cut into every. Including like Vandal Savage's conversation with Order and Chaos at the end of this episode or during this episode. Other than that, it was great. We haven't gotten this much time with Zatanna since season 1, so that was a lot of fun. Her whole Sentinels cast is entertaining to say the least, and I was here for it. I like Dr. Fate. I like Zatanna. I like Giovanni. Which, guys, I'm sorry I've been saying that wrong. I read the comments, so I'm glad.
What were you saying before?
We got to do this. I was saying Zatara isn't like his last name. Like it's like.
I still consider that the same. That's who I've been referring to him as.
I normally just say it's Zatanna's dad. Normally, I don't even bother with a name.
I was gonna say until just now, I was trying to click like Giovanni. Was that the old guy that was like recruiting Zatara? Like. Okay.
Yeah, no, I just remember Giovanni, and then like the end tag scene has, Black Canary and Giovanni sit down and talk, it's a callback to a moment they had in season 1, but we'll get there. So.
We'll get there. My overall opinion was I really didn't like the telling the story of Klarion. I also felt like we did a lot of hyping up for Child and Klarion for it to really just boil. There was like 6 episodes, and the whole point was obviously to get the Dr. Fate moment with Zatanna and to do the Mary Marvel setup for the. Oh my God, Kat! I've pet you. Why are you doing this? What are you doing? Anyway, she made me lose my train of thought. I can hear her over the headphones. Like, no, but it was all setting it up. I liked the story of her and her father. I liked the story of what we're doing, Dr. Fate. I liked all the discovery of the magic elements and things like that. I even thought the Klarion stuff was a little interesting, but it didn't hook me. Like I never sat there like, oh, Klarion. And I felt like that kept hyping up Child as the big bad, only for her to be kind of removed relatively quickly and simply. Mm-hmm. I wish it was a villain that we knew better if you're going to handle it in that way. Because Child's someone even I had no idea who that was. And I'm like, oh, we're going to get more into her. We're going to see her power, the scope. And we had the brief moment of like, oh no. Oh, wait, no, we got it. It's good. It's all done.
Right. Yeah, I thought she was certainly scarier in general because I think when I was watching, I was like, this is a nightmare because with Klarion, there's this era of childishness where he's just kind of joking around, and he does really messed up stuff. You'll remember last season where he took those trafficked kids and turned them into a Cronenberg monster, if you recall, which was terrifying. But this is worse. I mean, Child just like...
He trapped people on a bus for 10 years.
Literally 10 years. That's I can't... It's scary. So other than that, I agree with you that it fell ever so slightly flat. I have to imagine this is a character. Greg and Brandon don't do anything without wanting to bring him back. I think we'll see Child again for sure.
I hope so, because of the amount of setup that was to, like, she's so bad, she's so evil. We got to get Klarion on our side. We got to get Dr. Fate on our side. We got to come to terms. Like, there was so much setup for how much it was going to be. Only I just felt like it didn't really hit that mark with the final fight. The final fight didn't feel very action-packed, didn't feel very magical. It was just kind of like, oh no, we separated her, we fought with her, it was over in 10 minutes, and we set this up for 6 episodes.
Right. And I don't think Tracy earned that final hit. Like,
no.
Like if Mary had gotten it, even if Khalid had gotten it, or Zatanna, it would have had more impact. But Tracy was the character that was like, she's been on the show the longest in these 2 other ones, but had the least interesting arc. It was very, very silly, self-absorbed. I'm insecure, not for any real reason. So
I forgot who Tracy was. Like, she was just there, and then she did that move, and I literally pulled my phone out and went, Tracy, DC Comics. Oh, right, that's who that is. Like, even though she's been there, she's been a part of the arc, she's been a part of what's going on, the whole time I kind of felt like she was just, we need to give 3 people to Zatanna, and Mary Marvel's interesting, and Khalid's going to be the new Dr. Fate, so they're important. We just want Tracy in there so it doesn't feel like she's kind of handpicking these people. That's what I felt the whole time. Right. I forgot who Tracy was, like, this whole segment, and she didn't seem important for the most part until towards the back half when she started to get more lines. And I'm oh, wait, now she's important, because she's really hasn't said or done much up till now.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting decision. Dan, how do you feel about it?
No, I was in the exact same boat, because, like, if it was Mary, like, when she was, like, absorbing everyone's life power and stuff, like that was, like, okay, this is intense, and, like, Khalid's, like, helping everyone, and then she just kind of is like, haha, bad luck. And I'm like, wait, like that, that's it, and you're the one dealing the finishing blow. But I also had a concern with like the way that they stripped the major powers from Child. Was it just, I must have missed something, but the Vandal Savage stuff, I didn't realize that him with the Phantom Stranger was in present day, and it wasn't like in the past, because they had done such a, here's the long history of Vandal Savage. And did I miss something, or was that just kind of implied that apparently it was happening at the same time, even though we were doing massive flashbacks prior?
They were doing some weird time travel stuff, just like when Klarion went back for the bus. They were doing some. It was like, wait, Conor? Did I miss? Did Conor? No, we're in the past. Okay, good. Because when they first did that, I was like, because they didn't clarify Klarion. And I think they said he can go through time and space. They didn't clarify where he was going, so he shows up and there's Conor, and I'm like, oh, nuts. Did I miss an episode? Like,
yeah, that was my favorite. That's such a key moment from season 1 where Superman and Conor have their first interaction, and he kind of just like gives him a cold shoulder. No, the Phantom Stranger pulls up in Sydney, where they had just shown the destroyed Sydney, Australia by Child. And then Vandal Savage grabs him there, and then they go. So that was the only scene. But it was the exact same style, exact same, like, they're using the same vocal filter on his monologuing as if it's like the stupid, voiceover past retelling. So confusing.
Well, I wanted to ask you this, Hassan, about because you mentioned this and when you were doing your recap, the past stuff, the still image stuff that they were doing for Vandal Savage. I'm hoping this pays off in the end, and knowing the way they pace the show, and I'm hoping it does, because it felt like it went nowhere. It was like Vandal Savage, and here's the origin kind of Naboo, and the origin kind of Klarion, and the origin kind of Vandal Savage. We got to the ending, and I was just kind of like, was any of that really important? Like, is that please going to pay off? Because you played up the Lords of Order a lot for us to just kind of go, and the result is Naboo's going to share bodies with people. Oh,
well, I think that's all leading to this Darkseid versus Vandal Savage fight, right? We all see Darkseid, imposing figure, terrifying, god of all, absolutely a threat. Vandal Savage has always been an Earth level villain, right? It's been a guy that you know, if you guys watch Legends of Tomorrow, remember Vandal Savage on that? Like, come on, he's kind of a joke character.
Yeah.
And this one, they've done a good job of enriching him. And then at the end, it was the fact that the Lords of Chaos and Order will be backing Vandal Savage in the war against Darkseid. That's the most important thing, because Darkseid has anti-life, which isn't chaos. It's nothing. It's being subdued. So that's the bigger I think, payoff of that whole thing. And I think it's for us as viewers to really see how important Vandal Savage is. Because he's not a good guy, he's not evil, right? Like they talked about it last season. He's got the nuclear option to kill all of the Justice League's families if they want to, but they'll never do that. They don't cross those lines. There are things that he just will never, ever do. When the world's in chaos, all the villains are helping when the world's going to end by something like Child. So definitely it's an interesting moving forward, right? Because we're not going to get the Darkseid fight this season. I think that'd be a terrible idea. Well,
they're already approved for 5, right?
No, they didn't get the approval yet. I have to imagine it's either going to come now or it's not going to come. So, hashtag Renew Young Justice. Greg Weisman tweets it every single day.
I was like, are we starting that now? We're getting on that train? Okay.
They literally tweet it every single day.
Do they?
Because he talks about it. Because Greg Weisman has a very sassy Twitter presence. If you guys ever
he's
see
very
him.
Active on Twitter.
Oh, he's hilarious because I think he's like an old man, so like lacks a little bit of awareness, but it's really, really funny. He'll like it'll be a kid be like, "Is this gonna happen this season?" And he responds, "No spoilers. You should know this by now." It's like really entertaining.
I do love the way he acts on Twitter. Is like he takes the time to talk to every individual person that's talking to him, and he just acts. He doesn't act like he's on Twitter, which I find to be the funniest thing ever. Like
Right.
almost like you said, he lacks that awareness that you do realize you're blasting this to hundreds of thousands of people. You're not DMing someone, Greg.
Yeah. Well, and I know this personally because I tweeted at him, God knows, 10 years ago. Some change. I made my Twitter to tweet at Greg Weisman. Why aren't you making any more Young Justice episodes? Because clearly no understanding of what's going on in that realm. So it's implications are going to be very interesting for it moving forward. I hope we get more seasons because I want to see this, Vandal Savage and the entire Earth and Justice League versus Darkseid because it'll be an interesting war.
So, any more comments on the overall thing? Because I want to move on to Beast Boy next.
Nope.
Of this arc,
it's super interesting, and I like the Doctor. I like the Dr. Fate. I like the whole giving, because even when I was a kid till now, I think that's something that I've always thought about how sad it is because they don't ever get into how completely heartbreaking it is to have someone lose their child when their child is 14 years old and miss out on their entire life, right?
Yeah.
And then the heart-to-heart at the end was really great because it paid off. That one Magic-centered episode we had with Zatanna when he became Dr. Fate all those years ago in season 1, he has this moment with Black Canary where he talks about letting go a little bit with his daughter and letting her grow up and how hard it is for him since he lost her mother. That's it. Other than that, it was really, really good. That was heartfelt strings. When he cried at the end, I cried. I teared up a little bit. So
I got a little teary-eyed when Zatanna and him finally got to meet up.
Yeah.
And they were like, they're finally gonna it just kind of reminded me of season 1. Like I'm even getting a little misty here just thinking about it again. Like just losing the dad and then him coming back. It was just such a sweet moment. And that's why I'm not upset by how little we got really of Child in the ending as the big bad. Because I do feel like these last 5 or 6 episodes was all about Zatanna building towards saving Zatara. It wasn't, or Giovanni. God, now you got me saying it. But it was all about getting her father back. But what I kind of liked what they did about it was a little bit of subversion because you didn't know that was really where we were going with it.
Right.
You kind of just felt like, oh, she's working with her dad as Naboo. Like, that sucks for her, but they got to fight Child. You got to fight Child. You got to fight Child. Like, that was the big focus. Yeah. I do want to comment on the decision to do what they've done with Beast Boy since the loss of Conor. Because I was getting a little irritated with it at first when it was just kind of like, because what I thought was going to go on was I thought we were going to keep dodging the core actual issue, the PTSD, the depression, the actual problems Beast Boy was having. And I thought we were just going to keep dodging that. And it was just going to be standard cartoon version. Oh, Beast Boy, cheer up. I actually because they're not giving it a lot of time per episode, but just enough that you're following what's happening. And then they actually went there with it, talking about the pills for sleeping, the girlfriend and him kicking her out. Like, I'm actually interested. I kind of like this idea of seeing how superheroes deal with stuff going on in their lives and us taking the actual time to explore it, not just kind of getting close and then shoving it under the rug because we don't want to touch that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it?
Personally, I was kind of in the boat where now I could be very by myself here. A lot happened with Beast Boy in like the last episode. And like a lot. We had the on the set, the girlfriend, the pill, like all of that. And I felt a little like those could have been spread out throughout this first half of the season. Like have one where it was like, oh, here's Beast Boy losing his job on the set, and then like kind of show a little bit more of a building up to how much he is really breaking down. And so like I said, I could be on my own. I'm not saying it was bad in any way. I just felt pacing wise for how they have been treating it. And then all of a sudden at the end of an arc that didn't really have much to do with Conor or Beast Boy, excluding the one flashback. I just thought it was a little out of place, out of pace, but I thought they did a really good job. And I am very interested to see how dark they go with it, to be honest. Who knows?
As someone who constantly reminds us he grew up with this, how do you feel about seeing the heroes from when we were kids going? I mean, I wasn't a kid back then, but I'm an old man. But you know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, I love it. I love what they're doing. So Beast Boy used to be voiced by a different guy, but they brought Greg Sipes back, who did him in Teen Titans. He's done him 1,000 times in every cartoon, and I think they brought him back for this purpose, right? Because he's been a voice actor for 20 some years, and he has this very dramatic tone. And I think it was for this storyline specifically because they knew they were going to go really dark with it. Because I like I'll go the exact opposite point of view as you, Dan. I like that they've been sprinkling it every episode. Because back in the day, I mean, it was an ensemble cast. You'd get everything every episode. Now it's like really specific to these arcs. So I like that this is a narrative that is about the entire story as a whole. This thing is going to weave in every episode. It's not just Conor's death. It's losing Geoforce. It's breaking his arm. It's his mom's death. It's Rita's death. It's everything that he has had to go through as a character for so many years now.
It's all just kind of stacked up like...
Right.
It's just the icing on the cake at this point.
It's layering and layering and layering. And I thought that the scene of him just like being cold and disrespectful to Perdita was really well done. Because that's what drugs do to you. And Dan, you brought up a couple episodes ago that you thought it was weird how like Wonder Girl and all of them were reacting to him. They're like, hey, this isn't really superhero.
Yeah.
Maybe he uses drugs recreationally and they see him popping pills. So they don't think it's depression. They just think it's Beast Boy, being recreational again. But or maybe they won't go that far. Maybe it's superheroes. We don't do drugs at all. But it's the show takes a very realistic approach. I wouldn't be surprised if they're smoking some weed in the back of the premiere building. It makes sense. Look,
oh, that'd be interesting.
That'd be fantastic. Why do you think Cyborg and Beast Boy get the munchies so much? Like, they gotta have something for it.
No, we're not doing Teen Titans Go, man, because I think those are the stoned ones.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I really think it's been really sad. And then the payoff this episode, we brought up Conor being back. The little scene where Zatanna realizes that Conor's spirit is not at rest. Mm-hmm. His spirit? I thought he was in the future. I don't want him to be dead.
Let's go into that. They just confirmed Conor is in fact dead. Yeah. Something, but having his spirit at rest, something happened. That's what I told Dan because I didn't realize he hadn't watched it yet. I'm like, they just confirmed Conor's actually dead. Like, no more do we got these theories that he's in the future or in the past or...
And my response was, wait, Conor's dead man now?
Which if they're going to do Conor dead man, come on, that sounds great.
So let's talk about the season as a whole then, because Conor is the overarching plot up to this point. We've had,
he's the Phantom.
He is. We had the whole thing with M'Gonn. We've got the death of Conor, which led to M'Gonn dealing with her PTSD on that kind of a situation, her depression, and we also had dealing with the Beast Boy thing while going into an arc that involved Artemis and I don't know the names of all the characters because they've renamed them all,
Orphan.
Cheshire and all those, yeah. And then we went into the magic arc. How do you feel about this season and how it's broken down? Specific arcs having the running theme of people dealing with the loss of a friend.
Personally, I like it. At the same time, I could be binging it though. Like they really like their episode releases, but the way it's structured, I would love it if it was they were releasing it the way they were 2 years ago, where they were doing 3 episodes, or like release the entire child arc, release the entire thing. I'm okay if there's a couple weeks in between where I get nothing, but I had to rewatch them with a friend, and I enjoyed it a lot more on a binge than I did individually. But that other than that, I really liked everything that they've done with the characters. I'm glad we're back to that core cast. The thing that we really lost sight of. As much as Benny loves Geoforce and Halo and Forager, they're her favorite characters in comics.
You could take that season and just throw it out the window as far as I'm concerned. Okay.
But yeah, it's been good. I like the focus on the core cast. I'm more excited than ever to get Dick Grayson and Caldor. They're two of my favorites. So get focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
I liked it as well. I thought overall it was a great season. I will agree with you, Hassan, that I think it would have been better in batches. Like if they had almost done it the Arcane style, where it wasn't like a like necessarily be like, oh, here's just 3 episodes or something like that, but go, okay, here's the Conor and Magan arc. We'll take a week or 2 off. Here's the full Zatanna arc. We'll take like kind of just do there's that full thing for the main arcs, because the overarching stuff, it's there, but you kind of get the gist. There's not as many details that connect like the arcs between the main characters. But overall, I thought it was a really good season. Really, really liked it. Much better than last season, at least in my personal opinion. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they bring back with in the second half. And I'm also very curious, because you said that they have not renewed, whether or not they might almost like prep a just in case we don't fully get renewed, here's that Darkseid stuff, like actually fit it in or not. I mean, it would be interesting, because if they don't ever get removed and we never get the Vandal Savage versus Darkseid and like everything that comes along with that, I'm going to be sad.
I'm just hoping that we at least resolve the Conor arc and they don't drag that out, hoping for a season 5.
Right. Yeah.
Like, obviously there's more to the Conor story than he's gone. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see more of that. And I almost feel like what they did with Klarion, where they're reminding us that him and Superman weren't getting along, they're doing that so we can get into that. You know what I mean? Like, we can maybe explore that. But overall, I liked this season. I will say the issue I have with the broken up arcs is if we get to a segment, like just case in point, I was very adamant that I disliked the Martian portion, the way they chose to film it and things like that. If that had also been characters I didn't care about, I might have dropped off the show.
Yeah.
So imagine if like midway through there, like what if this Klarion thing was like, I don't want to watch any of those characters. By focusing entirely on characters like this, not everyone's a super fan like the 3 of us, where we're going to watch all of it regardless.
Yeah.
I'm worried how many people they might be losing per arc by doing it this way. Because, I mean, you could literally just check out. Oh, I don't want to see Artemis in Cheshire. Call me when it's done. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That's definitely, they're running the risk of it.
Yeah, that's I like them doing this. I really do, because it has more focus. I feel like we're getting very focused episodes, very focused storylines. I liked the Zatanna thing.
I'm expecting them to do the next couple arcs, right? Get Raquel. I think it's Raquel, Dick Grayson, Calder, and then if we're lucky, I want an arc that is the team together. Yeah. So that's my dream right now.
They have to. Like, I feel like as Young Justice, they got to have at least a couple episodes of the full Young Justice team doing Young Justice stuff. Yeah. So I hope that comes as well.
So how do you guys feel about because they've left us with good cliffhangers, because the show's not coming back to March. We have the Mary Marvel one, which, as I said, I did watch. You made it sound like Darkseid was there talking to Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness. That was it's one of Darkseid's
No, it's just the way you said it. Like, so before this show, Huston's like, did you guys see the post-credits scene? And we're like, no, which one? And he's like, yeah, it's got Granny Goodness. And I'm picturing like they're on Darkseid talking.
That's what I was picturing. Like Granny Goodness standing there or something.
Betty, you watch these while eating snacks and playing Fortnite, okay? I needed to make sure you saw the scene.
How are you giving me shit for it? You also play Fortnite and eating snacks.
You know, that's right. Spider-Man web shooters have been real fun. But look,
so fun.
I brought it up specifically because of your theory.
I got to throw this out there, and I got to say it somewhere. I've gotten really good at Spider-Man web shooting, flipping over, and SMGing into someone's head on the way down. Really good at it.
You forgot the other part, and then calling out to the team, did anyone see that? Did anyone see that? It was amazing.
Now I'm best ever. And then I'll get off the Fortnite thing. I was chasing a guy down. He was webbing away, and I was webbing away. And Dan starts going, Betty, you're going too far. And normally that would be your team telling you, get back here. We're getting separated. And he goes, I can't see you do cool stuff.
There you go. I'm going to tag on to this Fortnite thing. I'm going to just say, if Young Justice does a crossover with Fortnite, getting their characters in, maybe we'll get that season 5 renewed. I'm just.
Oh my gosh! If only.
But yes, my theory was right. But I thought it was I didn't think it was actually the Shazam being. I thought it was something else. I'll admit that. I thought it was like the demon or something she got mixed with. It is interesting to go this route, that she's scared of taking too much power, scared of becoming Mary Marvel. And now we have the Granny Goodness kind of tapping into that. We're going to get an evil Mary Marvel because, I mean, she got hardcore rejected.
Goodness inside of her, like, we didn't see her. We hear a floating voice. We've never had that before. I think you might have been right. I think that, like, maybe Granny Goodness because she can split herself in two or whatever.
Ooh.
Maybe her consciousness, something like that, some weird Martian mind travel. Like, I don't know, but maybe that's what the evil thing that was inside her was. It's not the sergeant. It's her.
Maybe
maybe.
she's at the Rock of Eternity.
Yeah, maybe she thinks it's the Sergeant or Mary Marvel or whatever she wants to go by. Maybe she thinks it's that, but it's that. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's Granny Goodness trying to tap into it. Also, I also like the idea that apparently she can use all the powers of Shazam, but she doesn't have to turn into Shazam. So why is this even a big deal? I didn't understand that with Zatanna, where she's like, you seem to really like the power. No, if I had the powers of Shazam, I'd be using them too. What the hell?
That's why you're not supposed to. You can't be Dr. Fate, Benny. Look, no, it's she can break up
You're
the
right.
powers.
I can't be Dr. Fate.
She can break up the powers individually, but they're not as strong as if she were able to use them all at once. So it's like a mysticism version of tapping into that strength.
Right.
But
it
still, we've
keeps her as
never
herself.
seen that ever, as far as I know. And I read Shazam comics. I've never seen them do that.
Yeah. I'm with it. That's cool. Then let's give him something to just show specific, because I like the idea. Like, Billy Batson is so clear of heart. He's so clear minded. He's so, because even as Mary Marvel, here she is doing things the Sergeant would do, taking powers, throwing them back, not looking out for people. And then Billy Batson has always been able to be like so lighthearted and good that he doesn't have to worry about that. But this is an alternative way for her to tap into her gifts, because she said tapping into my gifts, but as a sorcerer instead.
I did like as well that Zatanna made the reference of not only does she think that Mary is not ready to be a part of that, but I like that she referenced that she's got too much power and Naboo might take advantage of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that. I was
Even
like,
Naboo was curious. Why not this one?
Yeah.
Why not this one? I like power. Man, Naboo's evil dude, man. He's a bad person.
I mean, he's gone evil a few times in the comics. Like he's got some ulterior motives there. I'm just gonna say that
it's not good old injustice Dr. Fate. That's like legitimate good guy Dr. Fate who says the words "fuck fate" and then is awesome.
Yeah.
So
So okay, last thing I want to talk about then before we close out. What are your thoughts on where they're going with Conor? What do you think they're gonna do with this?
Dan, you're up first.
I think Deadman. I'll be honest. I think it would be cool.
That would be such a reach.
I think it would be cool if it was Deadman and he went to like Beast Boy, and there was something there. I feel like Beast Boy needs a goodbye to Conor. I don't know how they're gonna do it, and Deadman is the only way that I can think of that they would be able to do that. I got nothing else though.
I'm terrified. I don't want him to be dead, so I'm going to be in denial for a while and say it's something else. It's like, that's Zatanna not understanding the future. It's Saturn Girl projecting his mind across time and space. I don't care. Conor's not dead, okay? He's been with me since I was 12. Obviously, he's not dead. That'd be crazy if he was just...
I mean, they could just
died.
Lazarus pit him back. It's fine.
Right, we already have one of those Lazarus zombies walking around with Jason. I don't think we need another, but I think he has like scars on his chest, like that little like black and white negative artwork we see of him in the bus, I guess. It's like literal scars, which I think is interesting. The bus went by Miss Martian, right? So which was random because it didn't make any sense. It was like while Klarion is traveling through time, it's because Conor's spirit is following them or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
I hope we dive more into the bus. I feel like the entire explanation for Klarion and all that backstory is just to make him into a bus. Like,
God, it was so, because now we can go back and rewatch the seasons, and just every time there's a bus, we'll probably see those exact character models. Knowing Brandon and Greg, they wrote this in the book. They planned this for years, that they wanted to pay off this bus thing.
Yeah, because like
always a bus.
That's the best part is he's time traveling. So every part in like up to Klarion taking over, it makes so much more sense now that there was a random bus in space. Like,
we didn't even talk about Tikal, but the fact that he's like, no, this cat needs a new name, and they names it the exact same thing. Also, I kind of assumed it was the same cat. I assumed he went back in time and picked up the cat earlier in the timeline, but
I wouldn't even put that past Klarion and then him just not even acknowledging it.
He just doesn't know.
All right. Well, we'll find another show to chat with you on a weekly basis, Hassan. We need to. These are amazing chats, and we got to. And I don't want to wait until March to talk to you, man.
I appreciate it.
I look forward to us comparing beards every week.
Of course, right? I'm about to. This is going away tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to Stubble for a little. It grows back in a week and a half. So I just need a. I just need a.
Okay. Are you just saying that to make fun of me?
Like, exactly. 100%. Dan grew that the entire holiday.
This has been years in the making, okay? Years.
Yo, you look great. You look like Grant Gustin waiting in when he was like in a coma for a while, right? That little moment he woke up. Season 4 has the cool leather suit.
Yeah. Because we got nowhere else to talk about. I just want to talk about this real quick. I don't understand CW. What is going on with The Flash? Hold on, because Natalie is watching this show called Dynasty. Natalie's watching this show called Dynasty, and it's the quality's up, the writing's better. Like, you can do drama, and it's not. Talk to each other anyway.
I've been hearing about Dynasty too. I heard this exact same complaint from my friend yesterday. I'm not even kidding.
Yesterday she was arguing. Well, today I was like, "That's a CW show." She's like, "That's not CW. It's too good." Like, that was what she said.
Right. That's how I feel about Superman and Lois. I think Superman and Lois is that level.
So good.
I'm very excited for that comeback. So,
but we are on a far, far tangent. We'll figure it out later. Thank you guys for watching. We are absolutely Marvel and DC, and we'll talk to you soon.